That's right. This is Bad Weather Fans, episode number 53 with Mike and Alex. We'll get right to it. Nets, Knicks, might as well. There's no bullshit here. Nets, Knicks. Nets win 117-112.
Besides that call.
Nets get the win versus the Knicks in a very ugly game, from my opinion. Sloppy game. Game that was all over the place. The one that the Knicks got into and played very well.
As Leon the cat makes an appearance right as we start
every time I start this damn thing. But Alex, so I'll give you the floor to start, and then we'll go from there. Again, Nets with the win. This is sort of like an instant reaction to this game. Probably ended about 15 minutes ago.
Right. And I'm glad I had the 15 minutes to calm down because I was hot.
I purposely gave you your space there. I wasn't going to do it the second after. There needs to be at least a minute. I needed to let you get your
my thoughts together.
Your cap Twitter out.
Have a glass water. Oh my God.
Yeah. But anyway, we 15, 20 minutes. Go ahead. I'll let you start.
The game was a weird game. I mean, the Knicks and the Nets were tight, neck and neck the whole first quarter. It ended nice with Quickly's nice little scoop shot.
Knicks down 5 to end the first quarter.
Right. It should have been more, but like Quickly had that nice shot to which was cool. And then second quarter, the second unit got trounced by the Nets, and the Nets went up big, and then that lead was just there the whole rest of the game until towards the end of the fourth quarter, like 10, 12, 15, 18. But the Knicks kept staying in it. I thought they gave up at one point in the third quarter. I even tweeted it out. I was like, oh, the Knicks gave up. They looked like they were dead in the water.
I saw that tweet, and I said, that's the tweet where they turn it around.
And I'm
so pessimistic, bro. Every time you have not seen the Nets experience with me. It's a fucking disaster. Like tonight for me was 3 hours of torture. I hated every second of this game.
Yeah, no, the game was definitely excruciating to watch for both sides. I think for both fans, it
was awful.
Because the Knicks, every time they hit a shot, they were trading buckets the whole game. Besides that one run in the second quarter, it just seemed like they were trading buckets, and they had no answer for Kyrie. Kyrie's taking dives and flopping the whole game and getting every call. It was driving me crazy. And then he mugs Frank on the sideline, and he's like complaining about the call. It's like, are you kidding, dude? Just in general. So then let's get to the end of the game, because I know I'm not one to blame refs. I'm not one to get on the refs. The Knicks all obviously had a lot of open threes in the fourth quarter. At the end of the fourth quarter, Reggie Bullock missed them, RJ missed them, Burks missed them. They had their chances to really, really take the dent.
They did,
but they were where they were. So they're down 3. They forced the turnovers for some reason on that jump ball challenge. They trap Joe Harris and they challenge it. They win the challenge, but for some reason they do a jump ball between any two players at half court, which I don't understand.
Well, I think the challenge rule is terrible. I don't like the way it works. To me, if you get a challenge, this is not a net Nick thing. You should get the ball back. I've seen so many net games where you challenge and it's like, all right, so it's a jump ball with 4 seconds on the shot clock. It's like, may as well have just been a foul.
But the whole thing it wasn't even like a random foul. That was like a tie-up. So it's like, why isn't that a jump ball? Why is not that you're challenging the call? There was a foul. So it's not a foul. So it's obviously clearly a tie-up between Burks and Joe Harris, or RJ Barrett and Joe Harris. Why don't you jump the ball up at the foul line? Why are we jumping it at half court and the Knicks have to waste the timeout? You know what I mean? So it's just like they win the jump and Tibbs smartly calls a timeout, but then they have 5 seconds, 5.5 or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And Julius Randle gets the ball. He goes to, whatever happens, pass it around, who cares? And he goes to take the shot. Kyrie Irving clearly deflects the ball out of his hands, and he loses the ball for a second, comes down. He has an eternity to come down. If he didn't get the ball deflected, he would have passed the ball to anybody or thrown it at the rim. There's no way he comes down on 2 feet as a professional basketball player, all-star, thinking that it's not thinking that it's going to be a travel or just loses his mind. You know what I mean? So how is a ref going to call that, especially when the ref was behind Julius Randle, so he couldn't even see
him.
So he's making that call, which is ridiculous. Tibbs can't argue because he's on the other side of the court, so he can't see it. And the Knicks already used their challenge, and the game's over. It's just, that is the most ridiculous call I've ever seen. I can't imagine why the other refs don't overrule whoever that ref was that made that call. You can't see it. The refs underneath who could have seen it? The ref on the other side of the court could have seen it. I saw it from my apartment in New York City. It was just, I can't even imagine
Sure.
Yes, it's just a random game, but these games mean a little more between the Knicks and the Nets. Let's not lie to each other. Knicks fans, don't lie to yourselves. Nets fans, don't lie to yourselves. These games mean a little bit more right now, especially the way the two organizations are. I can't.
No,
the Knicks got robbed because they came. Sorry, Mike. The Knicks got robbed. They came back. They fought back. They deserved the shot to have that last shot. They deserve their chance to have it. They miss it. They lose. Whatever. I was proud of them, but Come on, man. Like, come on.
Fair, but I can't go down the road of the refs gave the Knicks a win. I will not do that. I can't.
The Nets,
I can't.
Yeah, whatever.
I can't. Gotcha. I can't go down that road of the refs gave the Nets the win. You know, it's like I know. And this will get me irritated because I don't need to hear the Knicks fans say the Nets are the little brother. But then why would little brother always get the call? Then don't call the Nets little brother anymore if you're going to say the Nets get all the calls. I don't want to hear it. You can't have both.
The superstars.
Don't have cake and eat it too. This is the Nets. Yeah. This is the real Nets. They have stars. Yes. They get calls. Deal with it. So I don't want. I understand your frustration, and if I were you, I'd be through the roof pissed off about the game. Right. I'd be so irritated. I'm annoyed as a Nets fan because of how it felt like every time it was at 15, it was like 15, 18, 15, 12.
They didn't put the nail in the coffin.
And they couldn't do it. Harden's missing shots. DeAndre Jordan's a disaster right now on the court. And you can, but at the same time, the Nets are on a 5-game winning streak, and they were on an 8-game winning streak before that. They're finding ways to win games. I can't take the leap though of the refs gave this game to the Nets. I won't do it. I've never done it. I've been consistent. I won't. If there were some bad calls that went against the Knicks, absolutely. And you know what? As a Net fan, I've waited my whole life to see the Nets get calls. I don't care. I'm sorry. And I'm not.
No, you shouldn't care.
And I'm not.
Care.
And I understand your frustration. Right. If it was a game against the Cavs and you were a Cavs fan. So I think the beauty of this podcast is you have the two of us. But I can put myself in your shoes and sympathize for how you feel right now and completely understand that. But at the same time, on my end, I'm like, fuck it. That's a W. Move on. I'll tell you this. The Knicks are the Knicks play hard, man. I've seen the Nets play all these games in the last. The Nets have won 13 of 14, right? Mm-hmm. This by far, I have to think, but the team that just played their ass off. And the big difference was when they had their chance to make, to me, they had Burks missed a 3, Bullock missed a 3. Right. They could not make those threes when they needed them. And the Nets were a disaster down the stretch too. I mean, they made some fucking bonehead plays all over the court. The Nets have had a lot of games where they have bad endings. Bad endings. The Wizards game was a terrible one. Thinking of another game's missing from my brain, but
that's all right. Yeah. Just it happens. Yeah. Well, that's where they need Durant. That's where Durant's going to come in for them to help be the closer for them, because Harden and Kyrie, Kyrie can hit the threes, obviously, like he did in the championship to win for the Cavs. But I'm saying Durant is the man in that kind of situation. People will be like, who's taking the shot? It's not Harden. He folds in the playoffs. It's not Kyrie. It's Durant's team, and he's going to be taking the shot, and he's the one who's going to calm everybody down and be like, I got this.
And this is this is a compliment to the Knicks. This is a compliment to this. I'm not trying to make this a backhanded compliment.
No, I won't.
The Nets could have used Durant tonight.
Of course,
they could have used them. I mean, they could have they could have used them to just put the nail in the coffin for the Knicks, but the Knicks just kept fighting and fighting and fighting, and a lot of good things to take away from them. I know, like to me, if people are going to give Julius Randle shit, and I saw some people like, oh, you can't do that. I love that.
What, at the end of the game?
Oh,
good. I wish Obi Toppin didn't play defense on that. I wish he just went, just go.
Yeah, I mean, truthfully, you don't want him punching Scott Foster.
Of course not. I don't want him to punch him, but he deserved his chance to yell at the ref in his face. The ref deserved that.
You love that passion. He gives a shit.
Right. He cares. He threw a chair. He did whatever. We used to praise Paul O'Neal for throwing water coolers in the dugout. This is that. Julius Randle was mad. This was his chance. It was obviously a terrible call. One of the worst calls in NBA history. That was horrible. It was there was no history. It's black and white. My God. Look, it's black and white. It was not a travel. It was called a travel. It's clear as day. It's not a travel. It's called a travel. There's no gray area there. It's not like, he might have hit him on the arm. You could let that go. It was just not a travel.
Should that have been a jump? If he hits the ball and he comes back down with it?
No, it should have just been a live play. Let the play go. Let it happen. Why would Julius Randle, like I said, he had an eternity to fall. He was up in the air, high in the air. He had an eternity to come down. For an NBA player, that's an eternity. For you and I, it feels like a half a second. But for him, it's an eternity. And he came down. He would have thrown the ball at the rim. He would have thrown it to a teammate, just done something to keep the ball alive. But he knew the ball was deflected. So he's like, all right, I still got some time. Mm-hmm. I can take the ball and go to the hoop or go back and shoot a quick 3 or something. It's just ridiculous. And the Nets knew it, and they knew it, and that's why they're all laughing at the end of the game, like, "Oh man, we got away with this one." Like, "Oh geez," what I mean?
No, it was that game. Yeah. I hated that game. I hated every second of that game. I was dreading today's game all day. I had a really bad feeling about this game, and I didn't want to. I stayed off Twitter. I didn't want to see any of it. Stupid
trash talk all day.
The amount of stupidness that I see all over the place. It
both
is
sides,
so
both fan bases, both fan bases.
Both. It's awful.
It's so
it's just awful. It's like
I feed into it sometimes, but it's just
no.
It's
you do. Of course, you feed into it. I don't take you seriously on there anymore about that because it's just it's
so stupid.
It is like people having a fight. Who's the bigger team? It's like who's got the better fans? Who's got? It's like it's not going to be settled on Twitter. I mean, who gives a flying F? I mean, I don't care. I really don't care anymore. And that's why I even started to engage after the game. And I stopped myself. I'm like, what am I doing?
You said this is why I hate Twitter.
Stupid.
The guy's like, I just asked the question.
I'm like, I'm just so mad at myself for even starting to get into this. Like I wanted to, whatever. Anyway, I'm happy the team got the win, but I have a
was
weird
it a bad call? Yes or no?
It was a bad call. Yeah, it was a bad call.
Thank you.
But I'm not going to go. I can't say that the refs won the game for the Nets. I can't do that. I can't.
The Knicks had their opportunities. You're right. The Knicks had their opportunities. It's not one to. I'm never one. I've come on this podcast. I've seen my tweets. People at Knicks Central. I've tweeted them out before, and I made fun of other fans. You can't blame the refs. The Knicks had the chances. This one was so blatant at the end of the game that it was just so like it was just not fair. Like I don't know how any other way to say it. It was just not fair. The Knicks deserved better in that moment, and I'm sure they're crushing the refs on the post game show. I'm sure they're crushing the refs at the press conferences. I'm sure they're doing all that. Thibodeau is probably going to get fined for whatever he says. It's just like, or he's going to play the I got to see the replay kind of mode.
No, he'll be. I look at the Knicks here and I see them going in two different directions. Interesting if they go in two different directions. Like the team rallies around this and they kind of get some. Not that they don't have camaraderie, but they rally around it. They play better. They reel off some wins and they kind of build on this. Or it's like tough loss, dwell on it, go into Philly, get another loss. So it'll be kind of interesting to see how the Knicks pivot from this.
Kind of like, kind of like Giants, Patriots, and the Patriots undefeated year when they had week 17. They're like, wow, we can hang with these guys.
Put it at that level.
I'm just giving you the first example.
The Knicks going a Giants type run.
Yeah, no,
this podcast is going to be hell.
You're going to be like, delete the podcast.
Delete the Knicks in the finals.
Delete my number, block me on everything.
You can see why I want nothing to do with the Knicks in the playoffs.
I was just I got to show you my podcast notes. I had that written down.
It's not fun. I don't want to deal with it.
This would be a disaster. There's no winning for the Nets. Like you beat the Knicks, you're like, all right, we should have, we had to. And if you lose a game or two, it's like, oh my God,
even tonight, it's like the Nets won, but it doesn't even feel like it.
Right. And the Knicks, because of the way it ended, then, the Knicks are not, if the Knicks lost by 30, then it's just like, all right, you guys beat us. We have no shot, whatever. But like, the fact that it came down to this and it was a BS call that ended the game and it's all that crap and like sucks. a couple hardened travels that weren't called, which are never called. But there was one that's egregious one down the lane. That one down the lane.
The one down the lane, and they were like, he tipped.
Yeah, it was just like, what do we do? Like, what do we need to do? Like,
but it's funny because like from and this is you can make fun of me for this, but I think when you're a fan of the other team, you don't see it quite as hard.
Of course.
So,
there's two views of a replay.
Right. So there's two views of it. I'm not saying they were good calls, but in my head, it wasn't as bad as it is in your head. But that's just my fandom, and I can understand that. I understand that. Two players I want to talk about. One from the Nets, one from the Knicks. We'll start with. You want to start with the Knicks or you want to start with the Net?
Start with the Nets. We always start with the Knicks. Go start with the Nets.
What'd you think of Nick Claxton that you got to see him a little bit?
He reminded me of like Kenneth Faried, like a little bit, like like Nuggets Kenneth Faried, not when he fell off a cliff. Like when he first came to the league, he was flying everywhere with the braids everywhere. Like, you know what I mean? Just like one of those guys. Like, I like the way he plays, man. He's just, he needs to play over DeAndre, man. DeAndre is a freaking. DeAndre had his alley-oop dunks and whatever.
But that's all Harden setting that. I mean, that's all James Harden.
Just jump. Like, okay,
right, that's nothing. Right.
It's not impressive.
The defense, you can see the defense Claxton when they switch, he can guard the perimeter.
Right.
I like this guy a lot.
DeAndre, like quickly was all the way inside of DeAndre's head. You saw what you liked that tweet that I put out.
I don't know if I saw this.
Quickly got in DeAndre's head. You liked it.
Yes, I did.
Yeah, he got in his head.
I literally
technical.
I got it. Yes.
Yeah.
So I just was curious about that because I've been hyping him up, and I've really he's a 21-year-old. He's raw, but you can that one dunk he had.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got raw athleticism. The Nick I want to bring up is RJ Barrett. He looked like a different guy from when I saw him play against the Nets the first time these two teams got together. Right. And the biggest difference I saw with him was just confidence, his ability to get to the basket, and he made all of his free throws. RJ Barrett looked really good. Like he looked very different than what I saw in the other game versus the Nets back at But not the Mecca, Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, that place that,
I was trying to come up with something funny. That's
something funny.
Yeah.
No, I mean, and he did miss that one shot. He got that open shot. The guy, I forgot who was guarding him, but he rolled underneath, and RJ's like, "Oh shit, I'm wide open for that elbow."
Knicks missed shots at the end.
Missed it. Yeah, no, they missed a couple open shots. They had that weird lineup the whole down the stretch with like Burks and Taj Gibson, and like it was just like a weird lineup, but it was working for them, And then when Frank fouled out, you texted me like, "Why isn't Tibbs challenging that?" I'm like, I don't know. Maybe he wanted Frank out of the game anyway. And it was time for Quickly to come back in. But it just shows also that they need another point guard. I mean, Elfrid Payton is a good backup point guard, and they needed somebody like that in that game. So in the second quarter, it doesn't get out of hand. Or Derrick Rose, I don't know, like something's going on with him. I hope he's okay. Health-wise.
Yeah, seriously.
He disappeared. He had health COVID protocols, and he's gone. I mean, I think he might have had a death in the family. I don't know. There's something there. Definitely more than just COVID protocols at this point.
It's been a while.
It's before the All-Star break. You know what I mean? So,
yeah,
I don't know what's going on. It's a couple weeks now, so whatever. But what are your thoughts on how Quickly played today with his? He was chucking it up a lot in the beginning.
He missed a lot of bad shots in the second half, but you can see the energy he brings. He clearly once he doesn't look like he's a rookie on the court. Right. I like his short shorts. That too. That's kind of cool. Now, I think Quickly's a good player, man. He bops around. He's got energy. He's got spunk. I guess I can see why Thibodeau doesn't love him in the sense that he's not going to, as like the pure point guard looking to pass per se. But I mean, the spark and the shots. Energy that he gives. I mean, I thought he was very good. I thought Quickly was good. Barrett was good. Randle was great. The problem for the Knicks was they couldn't hit shots late. They clearly defend and play well, but it was like all those Bullock jumpers that were going in early. He couldn't make one in the second half. And truth be told, the Nets got the win because Kyrie Irving made some really difficult shots. I mean, he made the Nets when they put him back in the game, they got a little more separation. He was great for them. He was a closer for them. Harden's having issues shooting, but although he did have another triple double, nearly had it at the end of the first half, but he's got to get his jumper to go. And in the first half, the Nets just picked apart the Nets picked apart the Knicks on that pick and roll at the top of the key. It was like Bruce Brown layup, Jeff Green layup, DeAndre Jordan dunk. I mean, they just destroyed him there. And then the second half, it was just, and I fell for it too. It was like 7, 4:20 to go, 5, 3:10 to go, 4, 2:08 to go. And it was just like watching those numbers until it finally ended. And the Nets were able to get the victory. But, Thibodeau's a good coach. His rotations were a little strange at times.
Yeah,
I thought it was interesting, and it actually worked out. So I guess I'm wrong. But his managing of his minutes with Julius Randle to take him out with like between 3 and 7-ish minutes in the fourth quarter, I thought was kind of strange.
Yeah, but I didn't understand that either. And it was also weird that Noel disappeared. Like where was he?
Gone.
I mean, I know Taj. Yeah, Taj was good, but like Noel is a better player. Exactly. I mean, it's just and it was weird. Like, speaking about Jeff Green, I texted you. I was like, Jeff Green equals Vince Carter tonight. Early in the game, he was dunking it on everybody. He doesn't look like he's that athletic. You know what I mean? Like he's
had a lot of dunks this year where you're like, what the fuck was that?
Where did that
5
come
or
from?
6 of these? And that's why, like when Blake comes into the mix, how they use him, all like the Net fans have been saying, don't get rid of Jeff Green. I mean, he wasn't like he could sustain that. He's not putting up 30, right. But you could see he can make shots. He's a defender they need because he can switch on the outside. Then he was covering Julius Randle on the inside. But you could see his value there. He's been good all season, but also you can see the Nets' deficiency on defense. They don't have, this is maybe where Blake could help because he's a body, someone that could just go up against Randle. Now Randle's very good. He's an all-star. So he's going to do that to a lot of people, but the Nets like Sabonis, Randle's, those kind of players with the back to the basket game, but can also face up, they give the Nets a lot of trouble.
Yeah, and that's a good point. And the Knicks had no answer for Kyrie once he came out of the game early fourth. Right, he that's usually when he takes his rest. And Harden came. I wasn't scared of Harden. Like it was like weird because Harden's in. I'm like, all right, whatever, good. Let's make our run.
It was a Kyrie night. It was a Kyrie.
Yeah,
night.
Kyrie was just so frustrating, and then it just pissed me off. I mean, when that one of those last possessions before all the mayhem happened, like the Knicks took a shot and they got an offensive rebound, kicked it out to Bullock. He missed an open corner 3. Nets got the rebound. It's a foul, and Kyrie's like waving on the crowd. He's like, yeah. Like, what did you do, bro? Like, you didn't do anything.
I mean, you're gonna get
there's
fans, fans in the building for the first time ever or whatever.
No, I get that, but it's just like It's kind of like when a cornerback in football, like is guarding a wide receiver, and the wide receiver drops it, and then they're like waving their finger, like, no. Like, what did you do, bro?
Kyrie can't win. Everything this guy does is a problem. Now he's on the court waving on, the 700 net fans, the only net fans we have, and now you're giving him shit for that. Come on, be nice.
No, just annoying. It was a weird time to do that.
If that was the Garden moment. If that was the Garden, and that was quickly doing that, even though it was an RJ Barrett play, you're telling me you'd have the same feelings?
But there was no play. The Nets didn't make a play.
I'm not asking you that. I'm not asking you if you were at the arena and Emmanuel Quickly was looking at you in the eyes, and he was looking at you,
looking at me in the eyes.
Yeah, he was looking at you in the eyes, and he was going like this. He was going like you, Alex. Going like, if you're watching this on YouTube, this is on YouTube. He's looking at you. You're telling me you'd be like, well, this guy's
excited because
this guy's strange. How
could
he? You look at me. We'd be at the game together. You go, Mike. This is a weird. I'm glad Emmanuel. You tell me you think it's weird.
Just the pumping of the chest, like, oh, look what we did. Like,
you didn't answer my question.
Like, yes, I'd be excited because they're winning, but I'd be like, I think it would be like a little. I don't know. I have to be in the moment. I don't know.
Kyrie Irving,
to me at this point,
Kyrie Irving getting excited because there's fans in the arena. Come on, man. It
wasn't about the fans and my analogy was perfect with the cornerback that's like waving the finger at the guy like that drops the ball and you did nothing to defend the receiver.
He was good though, man. Kyrie is great. His ability, his shot making ability, and just making separation and able to hit that 6 to 12 footer, getting in the paint. He is he's fun to watch. In the first half, the bench was very good. Bruce Brown was good. Tyler Johnson was making shots. Claxton was good. Second half, they didn't really get much. Joe Harris was solid. He made some shots. He made that big baseline jumper that they needed. But he's kind of weird down the stretch because he can't shoot free throws, so they don't have him there. It's just weird. But Joe was fine. It was just like a slow burn to get this thing over with, and I am glad it's done. I really am.
It's like the old saying that I'm sure you probably hate, and I hate too. Like, if there were 2 more minutes left more in the game, the Knicks probably win.
Sure.
I hate that so, but there's
not necessarily though. But yeah, I feel you.
But it's one of those like stupid. Weird thing about tonight. 3 Knicks over 20 points tonight with Quickly with 21, Barrett with 23,
welcome to net
Randle
games,
with 33.
Alex.
And Reggie Bullock had 19. So like that's wild. But the rest of the team did barely nothing. Burks had 12. Taj had 4. Like that was the whole team.
Yeah.
But it was weird.
Welcome to net games where everybody puts up points.
Crushes the stat sheet, man. 21, 15, and 15, dude. Like, how is that even like possible?
And what was
he doesn't even seem like he gets a lot of rebounds. You just don't even notice it. Like, all of a sudden you look up, he has 12 rebounds. Like,
what was he shooting tonight? Like 5 of 14 or something bad?
I gotta see. I got like a very generic box score. Hold on. But yeah, no, I don't have it here. I have to get a different. I just have the generic Google box score. Hold on. Stupid. Yeah, you can get it. Probably better.
6 of 15, 0 for 5 from 3.
It's crazy.
9 for 9 from the line.
10 of 10 from the line for RJ Barrett. That's insane. That's just absolutely insane. So
you know what? From the line. Kyrie 13 of 18.
This Knicks team, you see it. This Knicks team, it makes you really proud to be a fan. It's just like one of those years. It's just like, oh man, this is great. This is just like it's so nice. It's so refreshing. They're not great. They're going to be a mid-seed team, playoff team, mid to late. And it's just nice to see. You know what I mean? It's just nice. I went into this game like I do not want to get blown out. Like just make it close. Like did I want to get screwed over by the refs on the last play of the game? No, but I wanted it to be get there and be in the moment that they were in. And I was just proud of them, especially that they didn't give up when they easily could have. And I thought they did. I really thought they did. They look like it. I don't know if you noticed the time when I was saying that, like mid third. It got to like 18, and the Knicks were just like, ugh.
Yeah, no, I saw.
It was like they were going.
Well, that was the part that's the part of the game that bothered me. It's like the Nets go up 18 with 4 minutes in the third. End this. Get this to 24, and it's over. Yeah. I mean, there were so many times where they could have put them away, and for whatever reason, they could not do that. And and that was frustrating. But at the same token, like this is a 72 game season. Knicks are a good team. Knicks play hard. This is the kind of stuff that's going to happen. And you have to take a step back and you look at a big picture view, 5-game winning streak, after an 8-game winning streak with a loss to a 5-game winning streak, their best player is not there. I have to take a step back and say, okay, this is the kind of games that hopefully like they use this to learn something for the future. and that's something that they can use from these moments. And from the Knicks perspective, hung in there and almost beat one of the best teams in the association. See what happens. Now they go tomorrow. They play the Philadelphia 76ers without Joel Embiid. It's going to be a very good test.
Win that game. Yes.
Maybe this is the one. Yeah. I'll be truthful. I'll be rooting for the Sixers because I just hate the Knicks that much. But even though in reality, it's better for the Knicks to beat the Sixers so the Nets can be the 1 seed.
Right, but you're looking at it like there's so much. It's not the last game of the year. It's just like whatever.
Yeah, it's just hard for me to want to. Yeah. I just hate seeing the Knicks win, and that's why this is so
roll anyway. This
is why it's so difficult when they play the Knicks, because it's just I always want to see the Knicks lose, and then I hate seeing them win. And if they beat the Nets, it's like, just painful.
This is what I'm saying. This is what I was saying in the beginning. There is a rivalry. This game does mean more. Both fan bases, Knicks fans and Net fans. Let's come to a realization right now. I'm looking at you right in the camera. It's a rivalry. These games mean more. Stop lying to yourself. It does. And Nets fans can act like, it's just the Knicks, whatever. Stop it. The Knicks are also not a crappy tanking team. This was a good win for the Nets. They beat a good Knicks team that was playing hard and that was not giving up. It was a good win. It was a good litmus test for the Nets, too, to beat the Knicks. And the Knicks showed that they can hang with the Nets, even if the Nets don't have Durant and whatever. You know what I mean? The Knicks didn't have Mitchell Robinson, Elfrid Payton, and Derrick Rose. So, I mean, like, there's a big difference between those three and Durant, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I saw your face, like, you know, but you know what I mean?
Like, I was like, yeah, you seem to really love Elfrid Payton on Twitter. Did I miss something here? Is he Durant, but like pre-injury? No, I feel you.
Elfrid Payton
there's a rivalry.
Major part of the team. He needs to be a backup point guard. But yes, there you go. So there's a rivalry. Stop lying.
Well, why I guess my question would be, why are people so scared to admit that?
I don't know.
I think we'll dissect
fan.
Let's start with we'll do your end. You'll do the Knicks. I'll do the Net because I think that makes sense. I'll let you go first. Why would a Knicks fan be so hesitant? And I have my opinion, but I want to hear yours, to say this is not a rivalry.
Because it's been our town. We're not our town. Like, we're the best team in town. It's been only our town for like most of our lives. Most people who are over 12 years old.
Yeah.
So it's just like, you can't like all of a sudden be like, not you can't. Okay, where am I going with this? Where I'm going with this is
you'll get there. I feel
that the Knicks have this Knicks fans have this arrogance about them, and sometimes rightfully so, that we are the more popular team. We're this, we're that, we're that. Oh, screw this little team. The little team has what it takes to win the title right now, and that pisses you off. That pisses me off. That pisses other Knicks fans off. Yes, Harden's annoying. Yes, Kyrie's a little crazy. Yes, Durant might not be healthy. Like, you know what I mean? Yes, all these negative things you can say about the Nets, but you just got to tip your cap, man. They're just a good team, and it matters when you beat them. And we both talk trash to each other. We're all New Yorkers or New Jersey people or Connecticut, tri-state area people. Mm-hmm. We all know how to talk trash, and we're all mad at each other, and we all want to win, and we all want to, like, shove it in the other person's face. It's a rivalry. Stop lying to yourself. That's why.
Yeah, that's I think it's the same thing. I think the Knicks fan acknowledging that they care, win or lose, versus the Nets just automatically gives the sign of it's a rivalry. Like, if the Knicks were to play the Cavs in this and they lost, you're upset that they lost, but it doesn't have as much zing to it.
No.
And if it has the zing to it, then it's there. That's why, and I've been realistic on my feelings on the Nets, and I've used this word, and I truly believe this. I think the Nets are going through a fan growth spurt right now, where they're garnering and getting more fans because they have a super team. Like, there is something to the fact that the Nets have 3 guys in the top 10 in jersey sales. What that means that, I'm not saying this locally, okay? So calm down, Knicks fan.
No.
What I'm saying is there is, and some of it's locally, but there's a growth spurt. If that's happening, there's people that are into the Nets. I'm not one to get into these. There's more people watching the Yes Network now. Why? Because they have better players than they used to. So they're going through a growth spurt where they're garnering more fans. And if they do this for 3 to 5 years, people that are growing up are going to be more into the Nets than they are into the Knicks. I'm not saying everybody, but there's a better chance now than there was before for a few reasons. They're not in New Jersey. They're in Brooklyn. They're marketed well. They've got great players. They can potentially win a championship. That means they're getting more fans. They're going through a growth spurt. And to me, that if the Knicks fan can't acknowledge that, I just think they're not being honest.
Delusional.
They're not being honest. And But I could understand the frustration when, the Net fans on Twitter going, this is our town. This is our town. It's like, it isn't. And who cares if it is or not? Nets are getting bigger. Nets are getting more popular. And the Knicks fans threatened by that. And then the Net fan annoys the Knicks fan because the Net fan has to go, we're the big brother in town. We're the guys that are more interesting. And it's causing this rivalry, this friction.
Right.
And then it's coming to a boiling point. And Julius Randle showed it when he shoved a chair down the hall.
Yeah, and I think in Julius Randle's defense, I think if that game's against the Hawks, I think he throws a chair also. I think he would just be mad regardless.
I hear you. I agree.
I think also, I don't know if you remember, well, you probably remember this because you're a fan like me, but early the KG Nets and Paul Pierce Nets, when they first showed up into Brooklyn, those first games versus the Knicks, those were wild. Like the crowds in both arenas were into it. And people, you had people on TV like Alan Hahn, like, oh, it's not a rivalry. It's not like, why not? Yes, it is. Look at the crowd. Everybody's mad. The Nets came here and they're talking trash. And like the Knicks are like, yo, this is us. It's a rivalry. Like, why do we need specific outlines to make something a rivalry? Oh, you need to play in the playoffs 3 times and you need one person to win and one person to win. And then it's a rivalry. It's just like, get out of here. It's a rivalry. The teams hate each other. And that's simple. It goes deep to the organization. Owners hate each other. Management hates each other. The players like each other because they're in the same union. But like the fans hate each other. You know what I mean? Like it's just it is what it is.
Although there wasn't much hugging after this one, to be honest.
No, because
most NBA games, it's the same. Like like it's the same thing. But and the fans are dislike each other too. But I have more respect for a fan that's just open and honest about it and not. And it's hard to tell sometimes because you see people on social. What's that?
That's me, open and honest.
But I guess I get frustrated because like people see people on social media and they get triggered and they say things and it's just like, is that the real person, or is that person just trying to get likes?
Right.
Like when I went on Twitter the other day and I said something, the Knicks fans obviously jealous. I literally just wanted to get likes and I got them. That was a Knicks for clicks and it worked.
Yeah.
But it was like,
and it worked. Of course it does.
And it worked. Yeah. And it worked. It worked. But I mean, but. The other thing is not the net when the Net fans like, oh, we're not concerned about tonight's game. It's bigger picture. It's bigger picture, and I'm concerned. Why can't I have both? Why can't I want to beat the shit out of the Knicks because I don't like them, and take a step back and go, yes, they want to win. Okay, if they win or lose tonight, it's not going to dictate what happens in the playoffs. But I still want to feel good in the moment and beat the crap out of the team I dislike the most in the league. It can be both.
Right. Like it's possible for me to criticize Coach Tibbs' rotations while also thinking he's doing a good job,
and he is.
As I botched that.
Yes.
But it's just, you agree that they're both owners and management teams hate each other. The Knicks and the Nets hate each other. Like as to their core of their organizations, they hate each other.
Do they?
I think that there's no question about that. I just think there is they're in-town rivals. Like the Yankees and the Mets hate each other. The Knicks and the Nets hate each other. They're fighting for fans now. The Knicks feel threatened, and Dolan is not hiding that. Even though he can act like he's not, the Nets are not hiding that by trolling the Knicks during playoff games. Like it just is what it is, and that's why it's absurd when people think that the Knicks and the Nets will ever make a trade right now. There is no chance in hell this season, especially, that the Knicks will ever help the Nets win a championship. No chance. I don't care if the Nets give them, whatever, name the ridiculous price for Mitchell Robinson. It's not happening. Like there's no shot. Like there's no shot. So anybody who brings that up is just not in touch with what's going on right now. You know what I mean?
I can't see him making a deal. That would be stunning. And I don't want to the one player the Nets would give up is Spence, and I don't want to see them do that. I still hold out hope.
I still like him.
You'd like him if he was on your team because he's
if they signed him as a free agent, I think I can.
No, because his personality.
I'm not giving up for him.
Yeah, his personality is you, and you dislike him because he's you on the basketball court, and it's annoying. Right. I guarantee you, if Spencer was on your team making threes, I'll tell you this: you have Spencer Dinwiddie tonight, you're probably winning the game. A point guard that can get to the basket and shoot and organize the team. Thibodeau would love him.
But it's just both teams are missing players, and it's just a weird. Oh man, I'm speechless because I'm so mad. I'm still mad. Like
you Jones it for Twitter. You okay?
Regular season loss. What?
You okay without Twitter for a half hour?
I'm okay. I have my poll question up, and I see like 20 plus mentions.
How do you
can't even count the amount of mentions in there? What'd you say?
How do you keep up with that?
It's hard, man. And that's why, like, I just get like, I hate it sometimes because I'll miss like a sick play sometimes, and I'm like, fuck. Like, I was trying to send out like, okay, man, good shot, but like people like, it seems like people like it. I don't know. So I mean, but I guess it's like spacing it out, a little more.
It's like a drug a little bit, in the sense that I don't put tweets out and get much any luck
attention,
with them.
Yeah.
So I don't feel as interested in doing it, because it's just going to sit there, and I'm just like, well, okay, I'll put out, I'll admit this, I'll put out tweets. I'm like, oh, this is funny. And then no one reacts to it. I'm like, I'm just going to delete this. I don't want to have a tweet with no likes. It's depressing.
Yeah. And you because something that you would say to a friend, or you say to like me, who's a friend, I guess, but like, somebody in general, like that, in real life, you say it to them in a text, and somebody be like, know your sense of humor and know your personality. You're like, oh, that's pretty funny. You know what I mean? Something like that. But on Twitter, people are just like, what? Like, no. What? RJ Barrett has a what head? Like, what are you saying? Like, I don't get. And then
I don't think my sense of humor works on Twitter. Just don't think it works.
No, not really. Not really. It works for a podcast, though.
No, it works for a podcast. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, there's only so many cat tweets I can send out that people like. Get to a point where it's ridiculous.
That's why you have like 12 podcasts. How many do you have right now? So you have Mike Delivers, you have This Bad Weather Fans.
So I do
one with Evan.
I do the Brooklyn basketball podcast. That was weird, with Evan. Bad Weather Fans with Alex. Yes, Mike Delivers, I do twice a week. And then I also do a Patreon version of that. So I do 3 Mike Delivers podcasts a week. I'm doing 5 podcasts a week.
Wow.
Really making a lot of money on them too.
It's all about the dream, bro. It's about the dream.
But it's fun. I like doing it. I love doing it. Yeah, Mike Delivers a podcast about being an Uber Eats driver.
Yeah, that's fun. That's how we first met.
Yeah, no, I like doing it, but it is a lot. Like, sometimes you're just going, man, it's just a lot of fucking.
I just want to go to sleep tonight. I don't want to do this crap. Yeah, no, but it's.
But tonight was.
You never know. This was fun. But all right.
Well, let me say one thing we brought off the air, and you said this would be good to bring. Well, actually, never mind. I don't want to bring it on the air because I don't know if someone wants me to say, but I'll leave it. Anyway, get to your poll question. I'm going to shut my mouth.
Okay, no problem. Don't want to get you in trouble.
Man,
what the hell?
Whatever.
No, you wouldn't get in trouble, but it's just if you're not sure if the person that gave you the reference is going to be upset with you, then. You stole my thing. Okay. Yeah. What are we? Episode 53. I was not prepared for this one. That's why I'm trying to talk it through. All right. So there was no Knicks number 53, but I'll do a fun Knicks trivia with another number. But there were 2 Nets 53s. So there was one obscure one that you're never going to get, and the other one.
Who's the one I won't get? So just get that out of the way.
Rich Kelly, 1980.
Nah, but Dolan, if he was on this, would be like, oh, yeah, Rich Kelly. Oh, yeah, Rich. If you don't remember him, he had that one game where he hit those free throws underhand because I think one of his hands fell off. Don't you remember that? Yeah.
That one game, he played 3 minutes and he scored 4 points.
I was there, big Net fan.
So this guy played for the Nets for a few years in the early to late. So like pretty much the majority of the 80s. He was on the Nets. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5 years for the Nets. In the middle of the 80s. Huge, amazing dunker, famous dunker, like incredible. He was like known for that.
Did he not play in the 90s?
He did not play in the 90s.
My Nets in the 80s history dips tremendously. Just from like knowing the little nuances of things. Unless it's a guy I really should know.
Big with the Sixers before that.
Big with the Sixers. I have no idea.
Darryl Dawkins.
Oh God. Okay. Yeah.
Chocolate Thunder.
Yeah.
Yeah. He has the best nicknames here. I know Chocolate Thunder was his nickname, but he has the best ones. Double D Doc, Dr. Dunk, Sir Slam, Zandonkin, the Mad Dunker. Then dunk you very much. So
let's go back and bring up a Nick that's a dunker, because where the hell was Obi Toppin? He doesn't play.
They put him out there for a couple minutes. He makes a mistake and then he
missed the 3 in the corner.
Yeah, and he missed. He got that offensive board, I think, and he missed the shot, and then you never saw him again.
But you're not going to get. He's not going to get better not playing.
No, it's just put him in the G League. I mean, I know that's embarrassing.
I would too.
Like, if you're not going to play him and you're going to put him out for 5 minutes and expect him to make progress, develop that way, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't know. That's a good point. I just put him in the G League. Who cares if your mentality now is the Knicks are okay? We're a 500 team. we're in the mix for this 5 through. I'm going to put the top 4 teams I think are set. But if it's going to be, 5, most likely 6.
You're fighting for the 6 to get 5 or 6.
The Knicks are in that mix.
Yeah.
They're in whatever that is. It's a tight group. Why not? If he's not playing, why not put him to the G League and let him get better? I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't get that either. It's the weirdest thing. I mean, then you got like fans are gonna pile on, be like, oh, he sucks. Look at this play. He dribbles off his foot. Look at this. He has no moves. And it's just like, you got to give the Knicks are in a place where they can't play the kid a little more, which sucks. And which was what I was scared about this year but they're good enough to just be like, all right, you know what? We can't, this is not like they're fighting for the 8th seed and they're playing, whoever, Reggie Bullock over him. And it's like, come on. But it's like, they're actually above, 500 now, but like they're actually a good team and they have a chance. So it just doesn't make any sense to me. It's just not fair to the kid. Like, I know he needs to show, but he had that injury early on. Randall's just crushing it. It just might be a numbers game right now for him. And that's the problem. He's never going to get better if he doesn't get the chance. I mean, I know you want to win, and so it's a tough spot for him. But
that's why I'm saying the G League, at least he can play, and the Knicks can still go for victories.
Yeah,
or just let him. But I guess it would scare me a little bit if you're too terrified to let him play because you think you're going to lose.
Right. Then it's
that sucks.
But if you have Taj Gibson gives you good minutes, and he gave you good minutes tonight, like really well. He played, and I just don't like forcing Taj Gibson out there a lot instead of Obi Toppin. It's almost like I'd rather I don't want to lose, but I'd rather risk the chance of losing it with Obi Toppin playing than have Taj Gibson getting 25 minutes a night. You know what I mean? Like, as long as Mitch is hurt and stuff like that, you know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know. That's just a weird thing for me. So in honor of Obi Toppin, I'll give you one random Knick, number 1. Okay. He played for the Knicks. He's a journeyman for in the NBA. He played for the Knicks for 1 year. Oh, he only played 13 games for the Knicks, but he was on the Knicks for a little bit, 13 games.
1 game.
Bounced around the league a lot. He was a journeyman player, but you'll know it by the draft. You're a big draft guy, right? So 2007 draft, he was the 2nd round pick, 26th overall to the Milwaukee Bucks.
Wait, so he's
a 2nd round pick.
So the 50th pick, you mean, like her?
Yeah, the 56th
pick
overall.
in the 2nd round.
Yeah, 56th pick overall in 2007 draft. Tough. Went to Nevada. This is a tough one. But he bounced around the league a lot. He played for Milwaukee, Cleveland, the Lakers.
What years is this?
What was that?
What years?
So from 2007 through 2018. So he was in the league for a good amount of time. And he was on a lot of teams. Like, he was just like all over. He went to
Nevada.
Yeah. So 3 years from Milwaukee, Minnesota. I remember when the Lakers got him that 1 year in 2011 midseason trade with the Cavs, and they were like, "Oh, this is our point guard. We got him."
Okay, so it's a point guard.
Yeah, point guard.
Exactly. Man, and now I know Dolan's screaming at me. This is one he definitely will get.
Well, this is a Knick though, so he may not get it.
No, but this is still you've given enough clues. So a 2nd round pick. I guess that if he was a 2nd round pick. It sounds like if you're in the NBA for 11 years and you were the 50-something pick in the NBA,
successful career.
He had a successful 2nd round or a successful career.
Yes, I agree.
Man, I'm just no. I can like see it. It's just the Nevada thing was interesting because I could see
he had a couple good years in Washington, like the mid 2010s.
I don't know.
Ramon Sessions, the most random player ever.
Jeez, yeah, I wasn't getting that.
No, I just thought you might get it since he was been around the NBA a lot. So I was trying to give you one. Like, I'm not going to give you like Steve Francis. You would have gotten that in like a second.
Yeah, that's fair. I like the random one though. You're doing a good job producing this segment. I got to admit, you're really evolving and stretching it as we get into like number 86, and it's like, ugh. Who was number 86 for the Knicks?
Yeah, I don't know.
No one.
They did have an 85 though. They did have an 85. So we'll get.
Why don't you read? This could be fun. I know you got the poll question, but you should read some of the tweets off your tweets of angry Knicks fans and Net fans. Could be kind of funny.
Let's see.
I don't know. I don't want to get you triggered, but I think like one of your tweets that you had post victory for the Nets.
So I wrote. So my tweet right now that's blowing up. 204 likes. The Knicks got robbed. Even Nets fans know it. I think you responded to that one. So we have. Okay, so Justin T. Piscata, he goes, and he's at Autumn in NY1. So he likes the fall. He goes, Randle has been knocking down the 3-ball like Allen Houston this year. Very easily could have had overtime. Great defensive stands at the end. Very easily could have by New York. I just skipped the line. Great defensive stands at the end by New York on the road against one of the best and hottest teams and nearly rallied for a win without Rose, Mitch, or Peyton. That's a win with a winky face. No, it's not a win. It's a loss. But then we have, let's see.
I want mad. I want someone mad.
So then we have the obvious Nets fan that goes, you really thought you were going to win, huh? With a crying emoji. It's the Knicks. Like, oh, shut up, bro. That's your fan base right there. That's the kind of thing. Like, it's like, come on. Like, give me a break.
I agree.
And then we have at Mike Delivers Pod. Haha, stop this. That was what you said.
Okay. That was a good one.
And then it goes.
That guy's really creative.
Then we have a Nets fan. He goes, BK_born_N_raised. And he's I'm sure he's a real person and not a burner account. He's at BK_born_N_raised. He goes, Knicks got lucky. It was so damn close. Nets should have blown the Knicks out. Nets fans know that. And then somebody wrote, whining like a little bitch. That's like all these accounts are people with no names or no pictures.
You're going to go to your grave on this. Accounts. This is just our fan base.
It's Joe Tsai. That's what he's doing.
Creating burners. Right, so use them in the election, right?
Yeah, hey, listen, whatever. It's working for him. Okay, so we have the poll question. This seems like a year ago, and I did this morning after the game. It's just like the last thing on my mind now.
What was the question?
Knicks fans, if the Knicks sign Andre Drummond after he is bought out and they sign him to a long-term deal, your feelings will be what? And I re-asked this question because Shams had a little blurb in one of his reports saying that the Knicks have been linked to Drummond as a potential option if they buy him out or a trade with a long-term deal attached. Now, it could be some kind of like agent leaking some BS so they can get somebody to make a move,
right?
Whatever. So explain your answer, what you feel. I wrote pumped up, pissed off, or whatever. What do you think won?
Pumped up.
Whatever won with 42.7%. Pissed off was the number 2 with 40.3%, and pumped up was 17%. Knicks fans have tricked themselves into thinking that Andre Drummond sucks. Like that has just become the thing. Like, oh, he sucks. Look at this advanced stat. Oh, they stink with him on the court. Yeah, well, he's on a bunch of shitty teams with shitty coaches, and he doesn't care. He's like I said the last episode, and I tweeted it out also. Yeah. He's a specialized weapon. If you can get him in the right position, like Julius Randle with Tibbs in the right position, he can dominate, give you 20. Like he'll be DeAndre Jordan before DeAndre Jordan was DeAndre Jordan. Like that was like that doesn't make any sense. But you know what I'm saying?
All the same Knicks fans that don't like him, if the Nets got him, would be like, this is not fair.
Yeah, exactly. That you just nailed some of the Nets, but Knicks fans. But like the thing with that is like, it's the same people who said Westbrook sucks. Like you might think Westbrook's not a good fit for the Knicks. You might think whatever. Maybe
I still think that.
But you can't say Westbrook sucks. You can't say he sucks. Like he stinks. No, that's insane. Like, you know what I mean? Come on, dude. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
So a couple responses.
It must drive NBA players nuts when they hear that, and it's coming from a guy that's like, 50 pounds overweight, sitting on his mom's couch, and he's like, I suck. I mean,
with no real name or picture as your
right. Like what? How are you? Like, I mean, I don't know what you do for a living, but I'm probably better at it. Whatever it is,
right?
You might like. I've said I don't think Westbrook made sense for the Knicks, and I still believe that. And I like,
and that's fine.
But to say he sucks is inaccurate.
Right. That's just over the top. And then so we have a couple responses. I'm trying to get some good one. So Jonathan Brand, he's at DopeManFresh _ That's my boy. He goes, we should be going after and developing Mo Bamba if we want a big. The only way I'll accept and have no problem with Drummond is if he signs for cheap, which I don't know if he'll sign for cheap, but if they get him on the buyout without a trade, I'd be okay.
Well, that would be a different conversation if you don't want to give him a deal like that. I could understand if you don't want to commit there because it's just not part of what you think's the future rebuild that's in progress. I mean, that's a whole different conversation. So, but I could understand that if you don't think the money should be allocated there and should go into other places, and then of course continue development.
Yeah, and I think also I can't find the tweet. Somebody made a good point. I don't know where it is, but maybe. Well, I said this. I said partly this. Where there's smoke, there's fire. Maybe the Knicks don't really believe in Mitch as much as we do. And if they're going to go get Drummond and leak it and get it for a long-term deal, they clearly are going to move Mitch. And maybe that's the move to get the star point guard, or just the really good point guard, or the really good shooter that they really need, like someone who's legit, not like a Reggie Bullock who's going to get hot only when he plays the Nets, like somebody like who can do it every night. You know what I mean? So that's the other thing. If it's Drummond long term, and then you trade Mitch and you get like name a player, I don't know, you know what I mean, CJ McCollum, like I'm just throwing somebody out there, like it's not gonna happen. But like if you get that, then it's just like holy crap, like yes, like you know what I mean. Now we're cooking, you know what I'm saying? So it's just I don't know. That's just what I'm feeling. Right. So let's go to more of these. So he goes, Nick, he's at OKIDDO. He goes, if it was a short-term 1-year deal with a player team option, I'd be okay. But you tell me we give him like 4 years, $100 million, I'll be pissed. LOL. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, right. Like you're not like something like that would be silly. That's the point. You can't give him $100 million for 4 years, and then he's at the end of it, and you're kind of handcuffed yourself on cap. And when you get to a position where you could be going for a star player, that would be silly.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. It's just I don't know. Oh, so here's the tweet. So we have NYJ/MYK. He goes, at Nicholas VIGNAP1. He goes, the only thing I will be looking at to see if the Knicks are trying to set up a package for a star. Mitch would be a good piece to add in a trade. Would rather keep him, but I don't see him staying on this team if we sign Drummond. So that is the point. So is it a move with a corresponding move after it, or is it who knows?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's just then we have, let's see. One guy goes, just sign Boogie. Like, no. Like, I just keep Taj Gibson. I like Boogie and he's okay, but come on. This one doesn't make any sense, but I'll read it anyway. He goes, pissed because it will be the same old Knicks move. We need to develop, not throw money at broken stars, with quote unquote. We've done everything differently this season, and it's paid off tremendously. Okay, but Andre Drummond is not really like getting Steve Francis, and giving up multiple first-round picks for him. It's not really like getting Stephon Marbury. It's not really like getting Jerome James. This guy is a multiple-time All-Star. Didn't he win a Defensive Player of the Year or something like that? Like, this is like, I don't know. I'd be okay with it depending on the situation. I can't be like, the people who are dramatic, like, oh, no way, we can't do this. No, that's just crazy to me. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's funny too. Everybody that'll talk about the hot topic, Knicks and free agents. Mm-hmm. Win games, you'll get free agents.
Right. That's it. Pretty much. That's point blank. Period.
I mean, it's
bad
really
teams don't sign free agents.
Stolen or I think it's like why would great players want to go to a bad team? I think it's that simple.
Like, why would the Nets are not signing Kyrie and Durant if they don't go 42-40 and make the playoffs the year before? Mm-hmm. They don't. They go somewhere else, and they might not go to the Knicks. The Knicks are the only kind of team where you think that it could have been possible because of the market and the arena and the cap and the challenge of, like, if you win here, oh my God, you know what I'm saying? Like, then you're like, you're on another, like LeBron winning that title with the Cavs. Like, that's just, it counted as like 3 titles for him. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like that. So that's the only place, but like Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving weren't going to sign with the Memphis Grizzlies. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like not, even if like before John Morant, you know what I mean? Like they weren't signing with the Memphis Grizzlies.
Sorry to interrupt you there, Alex. I'm sorry.
No, that's what I'm done.
Yeah. But that brings back to this broader picture of they wouldn't sign with the New Jersey Nets,
It's true. That's true. Yeah, because like was Vince Carter upset when he got traded there? Or I'm thinking of somebody.
No, he wanted out. Kid was upset.
Alonzo Mourning.
He wanted out. Yeah. So Zoe signed as a free agent. Kid got dealt from Marbury. What's that?
I thought Alonzo Mourning wanted out. Like, he was mad. He wanted out of there, but he signed as a free agent. So
him and Kenyon went to blows in practice. He hated him. Mm-hmm. They hated each other, and then he left. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to get
Vince Carter. Did he want it? Vince Carter didn't want to be there, right?
No, he was okay with. He desperately wanted out of Toronto,
no matter what.
So I don't know if like the Nets were his number one destination, but he liked the idea of take 72 Net fans out of it. He liked the idea of playing with Kid and RJ. Like, to him, he's like, this is a nice fit for me. I'm going to play with a star,
help my career,
and a good player.
Yeah,
yeah. He was like, this will be fun. I don't know if he was like, my number one choice was Miami. Damn it. I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah, I was always mad about that because the Knicks like kind of blew it all on Marbury, and then like Vince Carter was available like a year later or a couple months later. Maybe my timeline's a little off. So it was kind of weird how like I was always hoping like, damn, we could have gotten Vince Carter. We could have been there for Vince Carter if we didn't have yet Marbury. It was always like, but Isaiah Thomas. I mean, I like the Marbury trade. Then I don't want to go rehash that, but it didn't work out.
No, I feel it.
So whatever. But anyway, the Knicks got robbed tonight. The Knicks got robbed tonight at the last shot.
Thank God. Thank God.
Yes, that's what happened. You can't blame the refs for the whole game. They should have won. They had their chance. They had their open shots, but in that last play, they got screwed.
That's what happens to little brother. Big brother gets the call, right? You're in the backyard. Yeah. I was gonna tweet that, and then I deleted it because I was like, what benefits it's gonna do for my life?
You're gonna be called a whiny little bitch, like somebody called me.
I was like, you know what? I'm gonna delete that. And then I wrote it again, and then I deleted it again, and then we recorded. But that was my tweet for the night. But no one would have seen it. And that was gotten in a fight with somebody that's probably
somebody that you don't know.
Probably would have gotten in a fight with someone that's like a pediatrician, just a good doctor, helping kids out. And here, you know what I mean? Like, I don't need this shit. So anyway.
Yeah, like he was the he's helping kids like who have cancer or something like that, and you're cursing them out about the next.
I know I'm the asshole. All right, this is Bad Weather Fans, episode 53. Mike and Alex. You can find this on all major platforms: Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, and then of course you can see this thing on the video version. Go to YouTube. It's Bad Weather Fans with Mike and Alex. You can hit view. You can watch it. It's a lot of fun if you're into the video game, the video watching. Alex, episode 53 was fun. A lot of good archived episodes, some fun interviews during the All-Star break too. If you want to go back and listen, you'll like that. Check those out as well.
Yeah, Evan Roberts, Lee Valentin, a couple of guys. So we have some things.
We did.
More to come.
Nets on a 5-game winning streak.
We talk other sports too, but mostly Knicks next.
Hockey coming next.
Oh man, you should have seen me in the beginning of the day with the Jets, bro. I was mad, but they, got Corey Davis, got some guys, Lawson, so I'm okay.
You don't want to do a Devils Rangers podcast?
No, I do not.
Could you name a Ranger?
A New York Liberty podcast? You want to do that or
over Devils Rangers? Absolutely. Can you name a Devil?
I know they had some guy that was like a top pick 2 years ago, and if I heard his name, I'd be like, yeah, that's the guy. But
can you name a Ranger?
Can I name a Ranger?
Can you name a player in the NHL that's not Sidney Crosby?
What's his name on Washington?
That's not Alexander Ovechkin.
Yeah, no.
I don't think I can.
If I heard the names, I could be like in
right. Oh yeah,
mainly from hearing. My future brother-in-law is a diehard Ranger fan, like I am a Knicks fan, and he like goes to games, that season tickets, and like it's just funny. It's like I wish you were just like a Knicks fan and not a Ranger fan, and we'd hang out like all the time.
It's like Bizarro Alex.
Yeah, exactly. Opposite Alex.
All right, Bad Weather Fans, episode 53. Yep. Thank you guys. Final after the Nets Knicks. We'll be back next week. We'll see what happens. Knicks got the Sixers coming up. The Nets have the Pacers. We'll get to see Karis LeVert. I'm excited for that. But Alex, thank you for coming on. I hope I wasn't too annoying. And I know after these games, it's a pain in the ass. I'm glad today's over, to be honest.
Yes. Today was a weird day. Thankfully, it's over.
All right. See you guys.